Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to explain about the characteristic features of the different classes of vertebrates in a comparative manner. So this is a chart showing the different characteristics of the classes of subphylum Vertebrata or phylum Chordata. So the different classes of vertebrata are fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals. So to start with, I have taken habitat as the first thing for explanation. So habitat. Fishes are exclusively aquatic. Amphibians, as the name indicates, they are both aquatic and terrestrial. Water is must for the amphibians to complete their life cycle. Reptiles are aquatic, terrestrial. They live in different environments. Birds are aquatic, terrestrial and arboreal in habitat. They live everywhere. Mammals again are aquatic, terrestrial and arboreal. They also live everywhere. The next thing is characteristic feature is body temperature. So based on the ability to maintain the body temperature, the different classes of vertebrates are categorized as ectothermic or endothermic. The first three classes of vertebrates, fishes, amphibians and reptiles, are ectothermic or cold-blooded animals, as they change their body temperature according to their environment. On the other hand, birds and mammals are endothermic. They maintain a constant body temperature irrespective of the surrounding environment. Hence, they are categorized as endothermic or warm-blooded animals. The next feature is body division. The body of fishes is divisible into head, trunk and tail. Neck is absent in fishes. Absence of neck is an aquatic adaptation in fishes. In amphibians, body has head and trunk. Tail is present in Urodella order of class Amphibia, whereas tail is absent in Anurans. Reptiles, body is divisible into head, neck and tail. The body of birds has a head, neck, trunk and tail. Mammals' body is divisible into head, neck, trunk and tail, and their trunk is further divisible into an anterior thorax and posterior abdomen. The next characteristic feature which I have listed here is exoskeleton, and in this exoskeleton I have covered skin or the body covering. If we see the skin of fishes, it is generally wet, slimy and covered with the scales which are made up of bony plates with some exceptions. In amphibia, the exoskeleton is absent, skin is moist with no scales. In reptiles, the skin is dry and scaly, and the scales in case of reptiles are made up of keratin. The exoskeleton of birds has got feathers and claws. Feathers are for protecting the body, insulating the body from the surrounding environment. In mammals, the exoskeleton includes hair or fur, nails, hooves, horns, etc. And on the skin, presence of oil and sweat glands are also seen. Next, feature is endoskeleton, and in this exoskeleton feature I have covered things like skull, type of vertebrae, ribs and sternum. If we see the endoskeleton of fishes, based on the nature of the endoskeleton, fishes are categorized as cartilaginous fishes if they have a bony cartilaginous endoskeleton, and if they have a bony endoskeleton they are categorized as bony fishes. So nature of endoskeleton is the criteria for classifying fishes. In case of the remaining four classes, the type of endoskeleton is bony. Next, skull, type of skull. Based on the presence and number of the condyles, the type of skull in fishes is monocondylic, as it has only a single condyle in it. The skull of amphibian is dicondylic. Reptiles have got a monocondylic skull. Birds also have got a monocondylic skull, and the skull of mammal has two condyles, so it is dicondylic in nature. The next thing is vertebrae. In case of fishes, the vertebrae are amphicoelous. In this type of vertebrae, concavity is present on both anterior as well as posterior surfaces of the vertebrae. So the type is amphicoelous. In case of amphibia, the type of vertebrae are procoelous. In case of anurans, a procoelous vertebra has got concavity only at its anterior surface. In apoda order, we'll come across amphicoelous vertebrae, whereas in Urodela, the type of vertebrae are opisthocoelous. Opisthocoelous is a type of vertebra which is exactly opposite of this procoelous. In procoelous, as I have explained that the concavity is at the anterior surface, whereas in opisthocoelous type of vertebrae, the concavity is at its posterior surface. In case of reptiles, the type of vertebrae are generally procoelous, whereas in Rhynchocephaly order, we'll come across amphicoelous vertebrae. In case of birds, heterocoelous type of vertebrae are seen with saddle-like articulating surfaces in the vertebrae. In case of mammals, the type of vertebrae are acoelous. It means the vertebrae has no concavity either at its anterior or at its posterior surface. Both the surfaces are flat, hence the type is acoelous in case of mammals. Coming to ribs. Ribs are present in fishes. Ribs are usually short and are fused with vertebrae in case of amphibians. In frog, they are absent. Ribs are present in neck and thorax region of reptiles. Ribs are bifid with uncinate processes and double-headed in case of birds, and the ribs are double-headed in mammals. The last thing is sternum. Sternum is absent in fishes. Sternum is seen for the first time in amphibians, and the sternum of if you see the reptiles, sternum is present, but it is absent in chelonia and snakes. The sternum of birds has a broad structure, that is keel, and this keel provides surface for the attachment of the flight muscles. Along with this, birds have V-shaped furcula, synsacrum and pygostyle. Synsacrum and pygostyle are the compound structures formed by the fusion of different vertebrae, which is again a flight adaptation. Sternum occurs in an elongated segmented form in case of mammals. So coming to the next feature, locomotory organs. We see fishes, the locomotory organs are fins and tail. In the remaining classes, the animals have got 4 limbs, they are tetrapods. In case of snakes, there are no limbs. In birds, the 2 forelimbs are modified as wings. So in general, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals have 4 limbs with 2 forelimbs and 2 hind limbs. The next characteristic feature is digestive system here. So the digestive system is well developed in fishes. The intestine of shark has one scroll valve in it, a unique feature of shark. In amphibians and reptiles, the digestive system is well developed with an alimentary canal and the associated digestive glands. The same is the case with the birds and mammals. In birds, the alimentary canal has crop and the stomach is divisible into a glandular, proventriculus and a muscular gizzard. Anus is absent in case of birds. And this digestive system in case of birds, it opens into a structure that is cloaca, that I will discuss in my later slide. Dentition. The type of dentition in fishes is homodont and polyphyodont. Homo means similar, dont means teeth, so they have similar type of, all the teeth are of similar type in case of fishes, and poly means many times, phyodont, the teeth arise more than 2 times in their lifetime, so polyphyodont. If first set falls, the second arises, and thus more than 2 times teeth will arise in their life cycle. In case of amphibia, the teeth are ecrodont, homodont and polyphyodont. Ecrodont type of teeth are the teeth which are superficially attached to the jawbones. In reptiles also, the type of dentition is ecrodont, homodont and polyphyodont. Chelonia is an order of class Reptilia, that is edentate. Teeth are absent in chelonians. In birds, extant birds, that is the living birds, teeth are absent. They have jaws in the form of beak, but teeth are absent. In case of mammals, the dentition is thecodont, heterodont and diphyodont. Thecodont type of teeth are the teeth which are deeply embedded into the sockets of jaw bones with the help of roots. So thecodont. Heterodont, here different types of teeth are seen like incisors, canines, premolars and molars. In diphyodont type of dentition, twice teeth arise in the lifetime. The first set is the set of milk teeth, and when they fall, second set of teeth, that is the permanent set of teeth, will arise. The next feature is respiratory organs. So if you see the respiratory system of fishes, as they are exclusively aquatic, the respiration takes place through gills. So that is the branchial respiration is the mode of respiration through gills. In case of amphibia, the larval stages are aquatic, so gills are the respiratory organs. In case of adults which are amphibious, they have simple lungs, and their skin along with buccopharyngeal cavities serves as respiratory organs. Reptiles have lungs for respiration with extensive foldings in them. The lungs of birds have bronchial tubes and associated air sacs. The lungs of birds have 9 air sacs associated with them. Out of these 9, 4 are paired air sacs and 1 is unpaired. So presence of air sacs associated with lungs is an adaptation, flight adaptation in birds. The lungs of mammals are with alveoli. Alveoli are the sites for the exchange of respiratory gases. Next characteristic feature is the heart, which is a part of the circulatory or the blood vascular system of vertebrates. If we see the heart of fishes, it is two-chambered with one auricle and one ventricle. This two-chambered heart, through this two-chambered heart, venous blood flows through this two-chambered heart. So this type of heart is venous heart, as deoxygenated and or the venous blood flows through this heart. And the type of circulation here is single. Coming to the heart of amphibians, it is a three-chambered heart. It has got two auricles and one ventricle. In reptiles, the heart is three-chambered, but the ventricle is partially divided. But in case of crocodiles and alligators, you can see complete division of the ventricle, resulting in the formation of completely four-chambered heart. In birds and mammals, the heart is four-chambered with two auricles and two ventricles, and we can see the separation of the deoxygenated and oxygenated bloods in the left and right sides of heart with double circulation. The next characteristic feature which I have listed here is RBC. The nature of RBC is the RBC are nucleated in fishes, amphibians, reptiles and birds, whereas they are enucleated without nucleus in mammals with exceptions. Now next feature is excretory system. The excretory system of all the four classes of subphylum Vertebrata has kidneys as their excretory organ. The type of kidney may vary. In fishes and amphibia, the type of kidneys are mesonephric, whereas in reptiles, birds and mammals, they are metanephric. And this classification is based on the development of the kidneys in the embryonic stages. Fishes are monotelic, most of the bony fishes. So based on the type of excretory products which they excrete, or based on the majority of the excretory products, the vertebrates are classified as monotelic, ureotelic and uricotelic. Most of the bony fishes are monotelic, whereas sharks and some of the bony fishes are ureotelic, as they excrete urea. This is the reason when a bad odor comes out when sharks are cooked, as their blood has urea in them. Amphibians, the larval stages of amphibian are monotelic, whereas the adults are ureotelic. Reptiles and birds are uricotelic, whereas mammals are ureotelic, as majority of their excretory product has urea. Now coming to the presence and absence of urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is absent in fishes. It is present in amphibians, reptiles, again absent in birds and present in mammals. Absence of urinary bladder in fishes is an aquatic adaptation, as well as in the absence of urinary bladder in birds, especially flying birds, is also a flight adaptation. So as I said, urinary bladder is absent in fishes and it is absent in the flying birds, whereas it is seen in flightless bird like Rhea americana, which is an exception. Urinary bladder is seen in amphibians. Urinary bladder is present in reptiles, but it is absent in some terrestrial chelonia, snakes and some lizards. Urinary bladder is present in mammals. The next feature is nervous system. In this feature I have covered only the details about the sense organs and the number of cranial nerves only. So eyes, nostrils, internal ear, taste buds and lateral line system are the sense organs seen in fishes. They have 10 pairs of cranial nerves. Cranial nerves, the nerves which arise from brain, and these nerves, they form a part of the peripheral nervous system along with the spinal nerves which arise from spinal cord. In amphibians, developed eyes and ear with eardrum are seen. They have 10 pairs of cranial nerves. In reptiles, highly developed vision, Jacobson's organ associated with the smell, pit organs, that are the thermoreceptor organs, are seen with 12 pairs of cranial nerves in them. Whereas in snakes, only 10 pairs of cranial nerves are seen. In birds, they use vision, hearing, taste, smell, touch to navigate. So they make use of different senses to navigate. The importance of sense in case of birds, it depends upon their lifestyle. 12 pairs of cranial nerves are seen in birds. Mammals have well developed sense organs. 12 pairs of cranial nerves are seen. The next characteristic feature which I have listed here is reproductive system. In fishes, sexes are separate. In male shark, we can see the presence of claspers which act as copulatory organs. Sexes are separate. In amphibians, sexual dimorphism is seen. In case of reptiles also, sexes are separate. Males, usually they have a muscular copulatory organ, that is penis. In case of birds, sexes are separate and they also exhibit sexual dimorphism. Mammals, sexes are separate, sexual dimorphism is well marked. The next thing which I have mentioned here is cloaca. As already said, cloaca is a common opening in which digestive, excretory and reproductive systems open in some animals, and this structure, it is a structure in which these three systems open, and this structure, it opens to outside by means of a cloacal aperture or cloacal opening. So if we see fishes, this particular cloaca structure is present in elasmobranch or the cartilaginous fishes like shark, and this structure is not seen in most of the bony fishes. And this cloaca is present in amphibians, reptiles and birds. Coming to mammals, this structure is totally absent in placentary mammals but can be seen in egg-laying mammals or the prototherians or the monotremes. Next feature is types of eggs. Generally, eggs are classified based on the presence or absence of shell, based on the amount of yolk, based on the distribution of yolk in it. So, based on the size. In case of fishes, the eggs are non-cleidoic. They don't have any shell surrounding the egg. They are mesolecithal with moderate amount of yolk in it. Example for this category is dipnoid fishes. In case of cartilaginous fishes, the type is macrolecithal with a large amount of yolk in it. And the type of eggs in fishes is telolecithal. In telolecithal type of eggs, the yolk is generally concentrated in the vegetal hemisphere region. So majority of the vegetal hemisphere region is filled with yolk, and the nucleus part is in the animal hemisphere. In case of amphibia, the eggs are non-cleidoic, mesolecithal with moderate amount of yolk, and telolecithal. In case of reptiles, the type of eggs are cleidoic, that is the eggs with shell, macrolecithal with large amount of yolk, and telolecithal. In case of aves, birds, the type of eggs are cleidoic, macrolecithal, and telolecithal. In case of mammals, they don't have any shell, so non-cleidoic, alecithal. Alecitha means yolk. A means absent, and lecitha is the yolk. So the eggs of eutherian mammals doesn't contain yolk, so alecithal. Macrolecithal types of eggs are seen in egg-laying mammals, that are prototherians. Next feature is fertilization. Fertilization takes place outside the body in water, that is external type of fertilization is seen in fishes, but in cartilage, most of the cartilaginous fishes and some bony fishes or teleodes, it is internal, which occurs inside the body. In case of amphibia, it is external, takes place in water, and in the remaining three classes it takes place inside the body, it is internal fertilization. The next feature is development, type of development. As already mentioned, in fishes the fertilization is external, in some it is internal also, but the development occurs in water. The soft eggs which are laid, they can undergo indirect in some cases, or they may undergo direct development. In case of indirect development, larval stages are seen, and in direct there is no larval stage. In case of amphibia, development takes place in water. Soft eggs in water, they undergo development, and the type of development is mostly indirect with the formation of a tadpole larva. In case of reptiles, the development is again external. Leathery eggs, they hatch, and the type of development is direct without any larval stage. In case of birds, the development is external. Hard shelled eggs, that is the cleidoic eggs, eggs are nothing but the fertilized ovum, they hatch, and the development is direct without any larval stage. In case of mammals, the development is internal inside the body of female, and the new ones are born. Development is direct in case of mammals. The next point which I have mentioned here is amniotes and amniotes. So based on the presence and absence of the extra embryonic membranes surrounding the developing embryos, the 5 classes of vertebrates are grouped as anamniotes or amniotes. If they lack the extra embryonic membrane surrounding the developing embryo, like amnion, chorion, allantois, and yolk sac, they are categorized as anamniotes. And if they possess the extra embryonic membranes like amnion, chorion, allantois, and yolk sac, they are termed as amniotes. Fishes and amphibians are anamniotes. Reptiles, birds, and mammals are amniotes. Next feature is type of birth. Fishes are oviparous, but some are viviparous, like shark. Amphibians are oviparous, they lay eggs. Reptiles are oviparous, but some are viviparous, as is seen in some snakes. Birds are oviparous. Mammals are viviparous except the monotremes, prototherians, or the egg-laying mammals. Some other features associated with these classes: in fishes we can see the presence of streamlined body. They have swim bladder. Amphibians, they lead a double life, that is they are aquatic as well as terrestrial. Larval stages occur in water, whereas adults, they inhabit water as well as land. Presence or absence of temporal foci. Temporal foci are nothing but the vacuities present in the skull, and based on the presence or absence, number of these vacuities and their location, reptiles are classified. So temporal foci are important criteria for classifying reptiles, and they have got evolutionary significance also. The body of birds has feathers which are waterproof, protective covering which forms the exoskeleton. Different types of feathers are seen. They form the insulating covering of the body, preventing the loss of heat from the body. They have their forelimbs modified as wings, and they have their jaws modified as beak or bill, and they don't have teeth on their jaws. Next, presence of mammary glands. Presence of external ear, that is pinna, is an important feature of class Mammalia, but this external ear is absent in prototherians. Then the last thing is examples. So I have covered here some examples of fishes by citing examples from cartilaginous, that is elasmobranchi, and bony fishes. Scoliodon, that is the common dogfish. Hippocampus, seahorse. Anabas, exocetus, the flying fish. Torpedo, the electric ray. Labio. These are the examples, common examples which we can cite for fishes. Coming to amphibia class, here I have covered the examples from all the three orders of class amphibia, like Apoda, Anura, and Urodela. So from Apoda we have Ichthyophis, which is an example for parental care. We have Rana, common frog, Bufo, the toad, Hyla, and Salamander. This is Urodela, which has tail. In class reptiles, we have 4 different types of organisms, like lizards, snakes, turtles, and crocodiles. In birds, so flightless birds includes ostrich, kiwi, emu, and these are the examples of some flying birds: pigeon, crow, penguin, hen, and peacock, etc. And in mammals, I have covered all the 3 classes of Mammalia class, like Ornithorhynchus, Echidna. These are prototherians or the egg-laying mammals. Kangaroo is an example for the marsupials or the pouched mammals, and the eutherians are rabbit, bat, lion, horse, elephant, whale, monkey, and finally man. So with this I end my presentation.